Obviously here, short rest coming in from a difficult but good win in Sporting Kansas City. How do you see the team so far?
Our team?
Yes, your
Good. Good mood.
good move.
I mean, there was short rest for a lot of games over the last stretch of games, but they're still in good spirits. That's what winning does, puts you in a good mood.
What do you try to work on when you come in off a short rest and maybe you don't have as much time to plan?
Physical recovery. We've played San Jose twice. We know how Almeida likes to play. It's a good team. It's a challenging team in many ways, but we know how they play. Physical recovery is number one. We touched on a couple of little things, and then we'll show them film. But it's more about the physical recovery.
It seems like Nuhu is starting to get his draw on him. It seems like early maybe he was struggling a little bit when he first came. How do you assess where he's at right now?
Nuhu's his play has been good. We just have to build his fitness. We have to build his confidence. We have to build his, stamina. I think you see glimpses of the old Nuhu every time he plays. But I need to, manufacture 90 minutes of the Nuhu that we know and love.
Would you assess
Leo Chu's what again? Progress? Good. Good. I mean, the challenge with Leo is, I've had conversations with him. Our formation isn't set up to, really highlight his strengths, and so it has to be a specific circumstance when, we need a goal or we're behind or something, and we really haven't been behind or, under it. I guess you could say maybe in the final against Lyon we were behind, but I brought Will. But, it's almost like specific games will be targeted for him. I think he has a chance to play against San Jose because, they mark man for man, and is he good enough to break them down? We discussed that with him. And then we'll have some guys leaving on the international break, and that Vancouver game is in midweek, and is that a game that we get him a start? I mean, so those are some of the things that we're thinking about to incorporate him into the group. But my message to him is just keep working hard. You're doing well. There's nothing wrong. He'll get his chance.
I was going to say Nico Benazet was out for the last game, I think, as a hip flexor. What's his status?
He's not available for this weekend, this game and probably the weekend.
Is that something that he did?
Just happened in training. Happened in residual of games, trainings, little hip flexor injuries. Those can be tricky sometimes. We'll miss him. He was good for us.
With Leo Chu, do you have any thoughts on if you don't play with any wings, do you see him more as an internal midfielder or as a secondary striker? If you were to play,
He's played. If you do the research, which I know you've probably already done, he's played multiple positions. Probably more so in 4-2-3-1 as a left-sided player. He can play a little 4-4-2, but we don't really play that. Could he play in the house shape? Maybe not. But if we play with two forwards, could he play up there, run around, get in behind people? Sure.
The last game in San Jose obviously was quite memorable for Alex having to go and goal, and you guys put on a victory. But generally speaking, what are you expecting from Almeida, and what kind of makes his team difficult to match up against?
Mateus is a great coach for many different reasons, and what I feel very strongly about is he always gets his teams ready to play. Regardless of where they are in the standings, bad run of form or whatever, whenever you play against one of his teams, they play. They don't give up. There's no quit. There's no fight. That's what I appreciate, because that's the thing I enjoy about our team. So that's number one. Number two, his unconventional, by MLS standards, tactics. He's been really strict man for man, but then there's been some games where he kind of little bit off that a little bit, plays a little more traditional, but in certain circumstances, they pair up with their guys. So I thought that's an interesting little change in how he operates. Very good at set pieces. They have lots of set piece ideas that they work on a lot. So it's a tricky opponent. And look, they've had some good results too. They're scoring a pile of goals. Trophies is in a good run of form. That's a story for them. Very good run of form.
I'm sure you're getting tired of being asked this, but can you give us an update on Jordan Morris's status?
I know. I mean, after the Fox News burst, I mean, look, he still has to. We'll get him into full training next week or after this trip, but he still has to pass medical protocols. So he has to go see the surgeon again, get clearance, but he's in full training, X amount of full training. Then they'll assess him again, do more tests. Is the knee stable after? Because look, what he's done now is great, but full training is full training. And then if he can come through however many full trainings they want, because a lot of these trainings are not real full trainings, they're just shortened sessions, and they feel that the knee is stable, then he'll get the green light.
So in terms of like setting expectations, not necessarily internally, but like for those of us on the outside, is it realistic to think that he could start games this year, or is that something? That
I'm a glass half full type of guy, and I believe there will be games where he will be available to start during the regular season. That's what I believe.
So it's just a matter of him earning those minutes, essentially.
Well, again, I mean, he's a winger. I mean, would I take Jordan Morris in my team? Of course I would. I mean, we'll see.
Obviously, Nico's on the farther progressive timeline, but have you talked to him? How's he doing?
He's doing fine. He'll be back soon. He's done fine. The surgery went well. That's, again, a medical timeline that, doctors will update me when they have new information.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what you've seen and how you've worked with Freddy Juarez over this time? He's
Good.
kind of getting acclimated to your group.
Good. Very nice man. Very humble. Very smart. I like working with Freddy because he gives us fresh ideas. He sees things from a different perspective. Playing against us for years gives us a little insight into our own team. Like, do I need him to help me with scouting San Jose? Not really. But what does he do? Hey, when I watch you guys play, this is what was effective. And some of the insights on our own team has been very good. And he's a good trainer. I mean, we haven't done that much, but his presence in the exercises that he's coaching, he's very good. Good presence, good strong voice. Players appreciate that.
With New England's run of form, how much do you look every day on that shield race? Is that something that's always in your mind? Not really?
No. I just give kudos to Bruce, because a lot of people might have written Bruce off years ago. Some of us old guys, might not know how to coach, or we don't have tactics, or we don't have whatever. But a couple of old guys are doing okay. So I love it. Good for you, Bruce.
Where is your? I know we've kind of gone. We've asked you about this a few times, but has your mindset changed at all in terms of hiring another assistant, or has that?
No, we'll
been
hire another one.
filled internally?
We'll hire another one. You asked about Henry?
Yeah.
Henry's filling in. Henry is a great employee to this club. He wears many, many hats right now, and he does it just because he loves being here and working for this club. But it's not his role to be my assistant. He still has he's got a big job. I mean, he has to oversee a lot of academy and Defiance issues, all the young kids. He's in charge of all the youth development, which is a full job in itself. You can't have a guy that's full-time as the youth development also be an assistant on the first team staff. You can't have that. But what I would say is I appreciate his help.
Any other questions, guys?
All right. Jordy's obviously been pulled out for the season, but what have you seen from him as he recovers from his first big injury? And him being a positive guy, what has he been like in the locker room? Helping team?
He's always been a positive influence in his team day one. Always works hard, humble, everything. I mean, it's unfortunate he got injured. Certainly to the other question, I don't know which one of you guys said it, going back to San Jose. Yeah, that's the scene of his injury. I mean, He's a good kid.